might do something major on the village green or whatever, and we set aside an amount called special projects. But we don't have to put in special projects, it could be called something else. It could go into maintenance, it could go, it's a matter for you really, to decide where you want that £10,000 to go. I mean, we had it in special projects because at the beginning of this year, we didn't know how much the toilet block was going to cost. And there were things that were bubbling, and we've used, so we've used
not
it.
very good.
No.
Chocolate drink. Chocolate drink, Mr. He's bubbling
Slow there.
My only concern is if Brian wants to spend some money on play equipment, we're going to blow £6,000 without even considering it, aren't we? If you wanted to, if we wanted to, for the littlies in particular, unless we just do isolated things. But it's just that we always seem to be strapped for cash. You know, we've got John wanting to do his fencing. Well, where's the money for that coming from? You know, in theory, we haven't got the money, so it's got to come from somewhere. So, likewise, of course,
maybe we could put on music on the green or something like that to raise money for the Parish Council to do these community projects on the green.
When I tried to, I must be careful, but we can't do that.
No.
I was told I couldn't do that.
Well, not sell a local beer or something.
No.
No, can't do that even. No.
I'll tell you about it later.
We are not a fundraising project.
Since these figures were produced, by the way, there's another £2,000 come into the income side, because you may remember that for the last 2 years we've had something called a company called Cottage Hill, giving us a £2,000 grant for the Wick Farm solar farm. Now the company's changed hands, and I suddenly spotted about 3 weeks ago we hadn't had their £2,000 grant. So I've been in touch with them, and their initial thought was we don't really want to be paying in these grants because it's nothing to do with us. You agree with the previous company. Once I produced the emails for them from the previous company, they've now suddenly agreed to pay it. So we've got another £2,000 coming in November. So in fact, that 42,000 is now already 44,000.
It won't be indefinite, will it? It won't be indefinite.
It'll be on these figures though, because we're forecasting it for the end of the year.
No, but what I'm saying is it's only another couple of years to go.
Two more years. Yeah.
Don't we get some money from the development of 2 Brent Street and also Station?
And that seal that was on the original,
Yeah, 6,000.
the 6,000 there is part of that scheme.
We get 4 lots of that, don't we?
We do.
24.
Something like that.
Yeah,
there are seals there. 6130. That'll be 24,000 by the end of next year. But of course that can only be used for certain things. They used to be used for community type schemes.
I think Warwick's going down the same road as me, that if we have grants coming in from either SIL or the Cottage Hill, it shouldn't form part of these figures. It should be banked separately. That's our cash. And should be earmarked. I would like to know that when I go into the year, I know what I've got to spend on things that we really need in this village that are a result of these little gratuities, for want of a better word, that we receive.
Well, in a way we don't take them into account, Colin, because what we do is we put them into a reserved fund. So if you look at the third page, and you'll see that reserve funds, and you'll see that in there the SIL funding is kept separately, 6130, and that's not taken into account with our figures, because that's a fixed reserve. So in a way it is separating, even though it's not in a different place. It is separately accounted for.
Okay.
But I do agree with you. I think it would be nice to sort of say, right, that's 6,130, we'll go somewhere else completely.
Yeah, but I think I know where you're going is that the fact is that the calculations show that our income
Yes.
is calculated, the seal contributions of 6,000 is shown as part of our income,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's actually a grant that should go into a separate pot that shouldn't be any part of these calculations because it's something that's given to us for us to benefit the village. It's not part of us, the
It
parish.
shouldn't, yes, it shouldn't be used
No.
to reduce our precept.
Correct.
It should be
That's on top of.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and when, then we can actually do something with that
And it's
money.
earmarked, and
Yes.
What would the
Because-
auditors say about it?
Well, that's the point, and this is one of the things that we had, one of the things that the auditors came back to us on this year was a lot of councils were not hiding, but they were moving funds away from their main, and creating different scenarios for the auditors. And although there are some circumstances you can get away with it, there's an awful lot of on the spot looking at this stuff to see where this money is. It has to be declared to an auditor. They have to see it. I can't hide it from an auditor. They want to see it.
We wouldn't dream, and I know you wouldn't hide it, but for 1 minute.
I think it's something I need to just
Sorry,
take advice on.
that's why he's got a new car.
Well, then, Chairman, I guess to some extent you've almost done double entry on this because you've got the sill coming in at the top, but you've got it taken out as less specific reserves under D. So although it goes in, it comes out before you get to the bit where you're calculating the. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's something which I'll have a look at. I mean, we need to perhaps
Yeah,
have a
let's-
look and see whether we can do something to alleviate.
It just sort of clouds the, when you look at the precept, it sort of clouds it, the fact that you've got this.
Particularly next year, 24,000 possibly coming in. I mean, that would make a big difference. You know.
And don't want to be penalised by having, if you've got more than 5% take, having that taken away.
Yeah, I mean, payers to spend it.
I think the main thing to say before the December meeting is to have a look at the budget and see whether you think there's any areas where we ought to be looking to spend more money,
Yeah.
or where you think
Is
there
it,
less money.
yeah, is it worth having a meeting with John, Andrew, myself, just to go through it, rubber stamp it?
All right. Why don't
And
we
then-
have it before the December meeting?
Yeah, I think that would be a good
Why don't we
idea.
take it before the December meeting then?
I mean, the thing is, if Brian does a lot of work on the green to say that all of this fencing and all the other work that needs to be done, let's say hypothetically is £30,000 to do, then really we should be earmarking money to do that as part of the precept.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but if you go to the village and say your precept, or the amount of money you've got to pay now in your council tax, has shot up by 10%.
Yeah.
For Brent Knoll Parish Council, people are not going to be very pleased.
No.
So we have to be careful how we manage that precept. And we've always been really sensitive,
Yeah.
haven't we?
But do remember, of course, the precept that we contribute to, our bit, as it were, is very small. I mean, you could have quite a large chunk of money on, it would make hardly any difference to the bottom line of the tax bill. It's how it looks, more than the actual reality of how much it is. I think that's what you're saying, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think also on a similar vein, but slightly different, the special projects. I think we need, I mean, last year when we set aside special projects, we did have in mind particularly a couple of projects we thought we were definitely doing. And again, thinking of the annual parish meeting, if we've got an item there that says special projects, but actually we haven't got an idea of what we're thinking of doing, we just look like we're taking 10 grand to put there for something.
Yeah.
We just need to have that sort of idea, I think, to be able to explain why it's still in there as a special project. It's not just a...
No, you're saving the money up to sort out the village green.
Yeah, but we could identify, we could say village green.
Yeah.
You know,
And it, well, I mean, if the fencing around it is going to go way over 10,000, so you could say the village green fencing, and then we're earmarking money this year to then do the special project next year, the fence, because we need to collect the money over successive years and put that somewhere for a particular project.
Yeah. absolutely.
And fencing is really,
And we can't then stick all that money back in to say this is our part of the precept. Well, we'll lose the money again. We have to earmark it for a project and then save that money and then do that project.
Yeah, okay.
But the fact is that on those figures at the moment, the figure suggests a precept of just under 30,000. So what you need to think about before we come to make the final decision in December is, are you happy with that? Are you happy with our reserves? Are you happy with the individual areas of the budget? You know, that's something which obviously you've got to decide on in December. And if we can meet up on the afternoon.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Right.
Where are we now?
Okay, thank you, that's great. Do you want to leave 8A until the end of...
Internet banking and that's the next area.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a couple of areas. I think we discussed it at the audit group last time. I've now actually formally requested internet banking from Unity Trust. Good. And hopefully by the time we get to the early part of next year, we should be able to operate internet banking. Probably, it might be more sensible to start at the beginning of the financial year, possibly. So from April, we should do a full internet banking service. The other thing that is becoming very evident, and you can see from these spreadsheets, that it's not really now the ideal kind of vehicle for doing our finance. You look at more appropriate, more techie type of accounting. You're thinking of Sage type of thing, but we wouldn't use Sage because it's not suitable for councils.
we use Sage at work and it's so expensive.
It is,
And it's so big.
it will be hopeless. So I've been in touch with a company called Edge IT, and they write software specifically for parish councils. And in fact, it's written by a parish council clerk, actually. They're a small company, they're a lot less expensive than some of the other providers. And they've already given me an online demonstration of it, and it makes life very much easier because what you can do is identify much more detail. That doesn't give you any detail, it gives you headlines, but it doesn't give you any detail. Whereas if we had a proper piece of software, we could go into it. You say to me, how much did we spend on a specific project last year? You just press a button, and there it is, boom. I can't do that in the spreadsheet, I've got to go through several different formats. So it is my vision to actually get into a more technical.
Is that what other clerks use? Is that?
The RBS is the one that a lot of them use, but RBS is very expensive and doesn't do anything any different to what you people do. Burnham on Sea use RBS accountancy, and they're very pleased with it. It's about twice the price of this. I'm not sure for a council our size whether we need it.
No.
Edge is much more suitable for the smaller council, sub 30,000 type council.
What about QuickBooks? QuickBooks?
QuickBooks is no good because it doesn't take into account our income is different. It's precepted income. It's not income by invoice.
No.
And everything they write is about invoices. It's not suitable for parish councils. So again, if I can bring some information to that meeting we have in December, and give perhaps some examples of what...
Do you know what the one-off cost would be? That was my only query.
One-off cost is basically for training, i.e. training me, I presume, and obviously the set-up costs at their end, because it's an online thing, it's not, in other words, they're updating it all the time for you, and you can access it anywhere. So, for example, I can access it on a different computer, because I have a password and so forth. So it's an online accountancy service. It's not like RBS where you download the software and nothing is done then online.
Yeah, so you access it through a secure portal.
Exactly.
And
So
what's the one-off cost?
the one-off cost is £850. That's for all the training and all the setup.
And then £202.
And £225, is it
202.
202 on an annual basis.
Yeah, well, that's your SSP, so that's your service and support and all the other bits.
Exactly. Telephone support and so on and so forth. So you're talking about £1,000 to start the ball rolling.
put
Can
this
I-
in your, sorry,
No, it's not in the budget. No,
it's not in the budget.
No, so it needs to go in there.
Obviously I'm in finance. We have free advice from our accountant. Now we run Sage, and I know when you log on to Sage that you could actually, we don't have to just run one business from it, we could run multiple,
Multiples, yeah.
because we
Yeah.
bought the whole lot.
Multiple.
Caroline's not in till Tuesday next week, and the accountant, she'll just talk to him because it's her husband over the dinner table, see if there's something else that is more fitting and less expensive, because I think I would be able to put across what we want, and it might be that we could run it on our Sage. I don't know, I'd have to ask, and then she might just turn around and say absolutely not, because it's her baby, but I would ask.
As I say, I think the most important thing is that there appear to be so few people providing parish council suitable, because it's not a big market.
It's not money making, is it?
It's not a big market either, really,
No.
to be honest with you. So, you know,
Would you just rather stick with Edge and go forward
I
with
think
that?
I think I'm just thinking from an auditor's point of view. They probably, again, coming back to auditors because they all seem to control everything. They would want to know that whatever we're using is very specific to parish councils and or charities, non-profit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's give it some thought. I mean, it hasn't got to be hurried into. I can't envisage us using this until beginning of next financial year. So we've got time on our side.
Yeah, the other issues are that if it gives us better visibility of the finances of the parish, and also it simplifies all the data entry, so it reduces the amount of effort you've got to do, then therefore it's from cost benefit, it's far better for us to use some form of IT derived technology. If it's on a secure portal, it means that potentially others with training could use it if you're not around or view the information.
And it makes it more transparent.
It makes it more transparent to HMRC, which is always a good thing. And then also the fact is it would also potentially help with some of the transactions and where it's gone and what it's for, VAT and all the other stuff. You know, I could see that it's
And as
a
an
huge
audit- an
benefit.
At the moment, I
It's
use
always-
a cash book for one piece of software.
Yeah.
I use a budget for a different piece of software. I do a different for precept. I do a different one for VAT. All these, and with this software, it's all integrated
All
into
in
one
one.
piece of software.
I think
So
we'll have a look at
have a
it.
look at the budget when
Yeah.
we do the precept
We'll
budget.
discuss it at the
Yeah.
Fine. Okay.
As good Edge.
Yeah.
Edge, have a look at you know look at it and you're online. Have a look at
Okay.
Edge IT.
Thank you.
I don't. What else is it?
It's called Edge IT. Google it.
Grant
support. We need to obviously think about grants. What I was going to propose that we do is put something in the BKN for any local groups who wish to apply to us for a grant, so we can decide perhaps in January, because that won't affect our budget precept. We'll set a budget, won't we, for grants, irrespective of who we give it to, I suppose. So if we make a decision in January, once we know whether there's any, we've had one in from, is it Wendy, Nigel Summers?
Yes.
Have you seen that one?
Yes.
Yeah, they were also on that.
What was it? The review.
It's an elderly support
Yes, I
group
read that.
for.
Karen Dixon does it, doesn't she? So
Yeah.
on a Sunday
There's a
afternoon,
picture.
there's somebody goes and collects a dozen people, and then they have hosts. Karen Dixon does it. So it goes on every week, but the host will do it, once a month.
Right.
And it's a meeting place, and they do a cooked lunch or afternoon tea or a buffet, and
You said that they have
Take
company.
and it's just a place to meet, and somebody opens their doors.
We can't discuss that until next
No, we
week.
can't. So we'll add it to obviously the CAB one, and anybody else who
Yeah.
writes to us. We have had a couple in the past from one or two local
Like
groups.
the lunch club.
Yeah, me, I think.
Yeah.
And we've had one or two of that kind. So we'll we can get all that together for the January meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and we can make a decision what we decide to do with it.
Chairman, can I just ask one thing? In
Yeah,
terms
sure.
of the grant applications, in the past we've asked people to give us a bit of background as to what the organisation is, what their finances are, that sort of thing, because
Yeah.
again, we just need to make sure that what the organisations are we're giving money to, potentially.
Okay.
Right, we're getting
Come
on.
on, let's press on. We're a long meeting by the look of it. We're on matters for consideration. Do you want to leave item A
Yes,
till
we'll
the end?
leave the end.
Yeah.
Leave that at the end. Yeah.
SID purchase, well, we've discussed that, we've dealt with that. Battleborough Lane postgate, that's with me. I've now got the signs. I've got to get a price for the posts, and I'm hopefully going to get him to do the work when he does the gates for the footpath across the Richard Mills Roberts, yeah. So I can deal with that one. Village Green fencing, John, that's you, isn't it?
A quick update, because we can't make any decisions on this now, but I will make a proposal at the end when I have given you an update. I got 3 contractors in to give quotes for replacing the fencing on the left-hand side of the village green where the bamboo is, and to replace the fence on the right-hand side with some decent metal fencing, which we've all discussed, and it's the same sort of fencing as behind the mugger. Right. We have only had one proper estimate. The 3 people have all done work on the green at one time or another. One was Ian Morgan, the other one is Ian, what's his name? Durston. Ian Durston. But Ian Durston never put his quote in, and Ian Morgan quoted for the wrong fence. So we've come back to Premier Fencing, who've done work, and I think they're pretty good, but we could go back to them. To give you an idea, to replace the fencing on the left-hand side of the green with like for like, chain link fencing is VAT-free, £789. The right-hand side would be by the green. That would require a lot of clearing out because there's a huge amount of growth there, and to fix in a 2-metre high fence, 2,600, which is not bad. So we're about £3,500. I have spoken to the landowners on the other side. One is Jim, and I don't know his other name. And
But, yeah.
yeah, and no, it's gone straight out of mine.
Jed.
Jed. They're very happy with what we've got planned. But Jed came back with a letter which was sent to Owen, which has been circulated around everybody. But he did bring in one other landowner, and they have got some ideas which they want to bring forward, the bank on our side is eroding, and they're talking about revetting and this, that and the other. Well, we haven't gone there yet, and so I don't quite know what the implications of that are. They have said already that should we do some work, they would be happy to pay. The other consideration is that when the Drainage Board looked at the whole green, behind the behind the village hall, there is a 17-metre culvert which is blocking, and Matthew Wall said, well, maybe we would have to take enforcement action. I think you did say that you may have asked them to look at it, and that we would be prepared to give a contribution. But we can leave that there at the moment. What will need to happen is, and I would suggest, my proposal is that we have a group of us who've all been involved in it before, and I would suggest it is Colin, David, Brian and myself, to meet with the landowners on both sides of the green, discuss our proposal, collect from them what they want to do, and having done that, we can bring forward a firm proposal as to what we could do on the green, possibly for the December or the January meeting. And I think that's really all I want to say. However, it is, I think, far less expensive than what we thought it would be. The only one thing, if you can picture on the right-hand side of the green, you go up to the trim trail, and there's a very thick fence there. And so I asked them to replace the existing fencing up to that that hedge. But they have discussed it with Bernard, Bernard Driscoll, correct. And he's come forward with some ideas, and I'm not exactly certain what he's talking about. So therefore, we need, as a group, to talk to the landowners, see what they want, see what they want to do about revetting our side of the ring, which is falling away, see what the cost implications are. I've already spoken to David about it, and he will talk to Chuckers, who can give us a price per metre to revet the bank, and the landowners said they will contribute. Well, the only other thing to do is to contact Matthew Wall to see what action we could take to unblock the blockage where the 17-metre culvert is. And that's it.
That's a big proposal. Anybody got any?
Well, I'm not proposing anything. We just need to get a group of three to actually get down nuts and bolts, decide what we're going to do, talk to the appropriate people, and come back with a firm idea and cost. And we can talk to the contractors.
Fellow Councillor, that's a big proposal from John, but I think it's a sensible one to have a working group and come back, because you're only going to do this once, this project, so you may as well do it right. And get in touch with everybody concerned. So is everybody comfortable that the working parties put together?
I think I'm quite
Thanks,
surprised
John.
with everybody else at the cost spectrum.
Yeah.
As everyone.
The next item I asked to be put on, the Fox and Goose, because of the traffic problem there, where people come out of the Fox and Goose and then seek to go straight across against the flow of traffic. And the Fox and Goose said this is quite a common occurrence and could cause a lot of problem. Cyclists still also insist on crossing to that central reservation against the flow of traffic. How they don't have an accident, I don't know. But I'm just wondering whether we need to consider approaching highways for some form of island barrier work, or alternatively see whether we can put a camera up at the Fox and Goose to monitor the activity on that junction, because it is a problem by all accounts, and I wouldn't want to have a serious accident. Whether you want to consider that for next time, give it some further thought, but it does need looking at, I think. So I don't want to press it now, but it is a problem. Any comment? Or no? Okay. Next one, F, VE Day lighting of beacon. Peter has offered his burner, whatever it's called, but I'm not quite sure. Beacon, yeah.
Brazier.
Yeah, brazier.
It's brazier.
We'd obviously need to get it up there, and we need some fuel for it. I'm not sure what the date of that will be.
Sometime in May, I think, isn't it?
May.
I think it's May.
So it's. Can you, if we get it, can you help me get it up there?
and put something in there.
Okay. So if I say to Peter, thank you, we'll have it, and we'll organise it near the date. Okay.
I noticed on the BKM that Carla Searle in East Brent, and I think it's something to do with the church, they're all going to get very excited about VED. I'm not certain of what they want to do, but clearly as a parish thing, which is all three churches, and I don't quite know how it would involve us, and certainly as the British Legion, we haven't yet had a discussion as to what we, as a British Legion branch, might like to do in the village ourselves. So there are one or two things going on at the same time.
There is one other thing that I think Carla did raise, and that's permissions from the National Trust,
Yeah.
which we would need. Now, I can tell you, the last time I did this, it
Nightmare.
was horrendous. The amount of paper that was sloshing around. To be honest with you, I wouldn't know where to start now, because last time they've changed it all now, they've changed it all the paper. I can have a go at it, but, you know, it would have to come from us apparently, not from East
Well,
Brent.
how are they going to ascend the knob? Are they going to go from East Brent, then it's their problem?
Well, it apparently isn't, it's our problem apparently. And that, well, that's it, at least it was last time, they might have changed it now. But I've tried, I think I tried to get together with, I think it was Martin who was your clerk at the time, and I think we did a bit of work together to try and sort it out. It was a nightmare, it really was. So all I can say is, I'll have a go at it again to see what we need to do. I can't guarantee anything.
Well, we need to see what they're up to, I think.
Chairman,
Be very clear.
on that.
Sorry.
It would be worth talking to Jed, because obviously he does work with the National Trust up on
Right.
authorities. I think
Okay.
all the wardens up there, isn't he, at times?
Okay.
So he would certainly be able to put you in
I'll
the
have
right
a chat
direction.
with you anyway.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
okay,
you.
no problem.
Okay. Under fire play equipment, can I, Brian, I've still got the Sutcliffe equipment book, and it would be good if probably I could give you that, and I've
Yeah.
highlighted a couple of things. Perhaps we could sit down and go through it.
Can I just read it a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
We went, Bob, Colin and I went to East Brent, September the 17th, to look at their play area and the provision of play equipment for the under fives. It was more of an up-to-date version of the main play frame that we've got already, although it incorporated better facilities for the under fives. It was made and set up by Sutcliffe Play of Bridgewater, which is handy, and as you heard, Colin's got a catalogue. We were impressed by the circular swing, suitable for some disabled children. I particularly like the tunnel facility, the distorting mirror, and the rope ladder. There was also a separate mini roundabout, which would be more suited to the needs of disabled children. Cost might be rather high, but it's possible that we could do one piece at a time, gradually build pieces on. Since that time, I looked in the Clark magazine that came around recently, and Sovereign Play Equipment do a sunken mini trampoline, which is in fact to the level with the ground, obviously, which would be particularly good for the very young people, and also some rope structures for climbing. And also in the same side issue, on the same magazine, on page 10, there is an item on planning advice and changes. So I thought it might be worth keeping that magazine and making a note of it for everybody. The Sutcliffe Play website shows details of the pieces of equipment I've described in its early years and key stage 1 section. So that is it. Thank you, Colin.
Thanks. Well,
Sorry, one more stuff. The other thing I did, I noticed Burnham-on-Sea Highbridge Town Council have put out an application form, which I've got from the internet. So it might be an idea perhaps to think about putting something in there.
okay. Well, I'll have a chat with you and
Yeah.
give you this catalogue and then
Yeah, okay.
take it forward.
Right.
Yes,
How
John?
much room do we think we've got on the green now without encroaching further up onto the middle of the green for any number of play equipment that we might like to consider? I mean, the green is quite crowded.
I think we've got to consult with the guy at Sedgemoor who would give us some advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the playground guy, I forgot.
Well,
his
we've got
name.
the
Scott.
Yeah.
is it?
yes, we've got the safety surface, so we get rid of the trim trail. I mean, you could bounce around on that area.
Okay. Thank you. Chest tomb update we've had. Health and safety policies have been circulated. I must regret I haven't read those at all yet, so perhaps could we bring that forward
Yeah,
to
Nigel
December?
will be here in December
Yeah,
anyway, so
okay.
well, hopefully he might.
Okay. So, can we go on to the next item? And here we have to pass a resolution before we go on to village maintenance. You've all been circulated. Resolutions to temporarily exclude members of the press and public on account of the confidential nature of the remaining business to be transacted pursuant to Standing Order 34 and 64. Signed confidentiality statement to ensure that all business discussed under the agenda item on the 31st of October is kept within parish council business, and no discussions of any nature, including family, should take place outside of parish council meetings to avoid a possible breach of this resolution. All those in favour? Thank you.
Just make a comment. On record or something.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You've all been